Buffy the Vampire Slayer first aired in 1997, ran for 7 seasons on screen, and continued in comic book form. Buffy is a supernatural drama series created by Joss Whedon. Focusing itself mainly on the horror genre, it also embodies teen drama with touches of comedy here and there. The protagonist is a teenage girl with superpowers, battling her way through everyday life while also trying to save the world from unspeakable evil. Buffy is an icon of feminism. She challenges traditional roles of women within the horror genre, typically reserved for male protagonists. One episode I'm particularly interested in casts a shadow on the Buffyverse canon. Normal Again, Season 6, Episode 17. Written by Diego Gutierrez and directed by Rick Rosenthal. It sees the Buffyverse split in two. This episode proposes a permanent subversion of the Buffyverse, the destabilization of Buffy's reality, the idea our hero is mentally ill and not the Slayer at all.
What is this?
Do you know where you are, Buffy?
Sunnydale.
No, none of that's real. None of it. You're in a mental institution. You've been with us now for 6 years.
Everything within her world has been created in her mind by her mental illness. What I want to argue now is that Normal Again is fact.
Oh,
If we take this perversion of the Buffyverse to be the truth, what is the world that Buffy has created? The world we previously understood to be lore, however fantastical, was acceptable. Like Occam's razor, a straightforward, uncomplicated explanation is the most likely. Buffy believes it, so do we. The Slayer's world is real. But now we're thrown into an alternative, harsher reality.
Girl in an institution.
Don't. Please listen to me.
Kind of Supergirl. Chosen to fight demons and save the world. That's ridiculous.
Let's begin with the physical world of Sunnydale. As once described by
It's in the bad part
Cordelia,
of town.
Where's that?
About a half a block from the good part of town. We don't have a whole lot of town here.
beaches,
Touchdown! Oh yeah! Go team me!
airports, and a castle
What I've never noticed before.
suddenly appear.
A castle?
A big honking castle.
Isn't that bizarre? Aren't you just going, ooh?
The sudden appearance of location can be a plot device, propelling us along the narrative.
Wait. Are you?
But what if it's part of Buffy's dark delusion? Physical manifestations her mind has created to usher us along her metaphysical design.
Happened to your daughter. For the last 6 years, she's been in an undifferentiated type of schizophrenia.
We know what her condition is. That's not what we're asking.
Buffy's delusion is multi-layered. She believes she's some type of hero.
The Slayer.
The Slayer, right, but that's only one level. She's also created an intricate lattice work to support her primary delusion. In her mind, she's the central figure in a fantastic world beyond imagination. She's surrounded herself with friends, most with their own superpowers, who are...
The Doctor notes that much of Buffy's delusion involves her friends. He calls them structural supports for Buffy's fantasy.
Grand, overblown conflicts against an assortment of monsters.
And Buffy's need for her friends is reiterated throughout the show.
This is my friend.
Friend.
Yeah. As in person you hang with, amigo?
I don't understand.
You try. I'm tapped.
Kendra, there are a few people, civilians, if you like, who know Buffy's identity. Willow is one of them, and they also spend time together, socially.
We're talking about 2 very powerful witches and a 1,000-year-old ex-demon.
Willow's a demon?
The boy? No power there.
The boy's clocked more field time than all of you combined. He's part of the unit.
In this clip, we see the first Slayer and how Buffy's connection with her friends is unique to her, going against traditions of the Slayer.
You're asking the wrong questions.
Make her speak.
I have no speech, no name. I live in the action of death, the blood cry, the penetrating wound. I am destruction, absolute, alone.
The Slayer.
The first.
I'm not.
She insists she's part of the world and her friends have necessary tools to ground her outside of this dream state.
I walk. I talk. I shop. I sneeze. I'm gonna be a fireman when the floods roll back. There's trees in the desert since you moved out, and I don't sleep on a bed of bones. Now give me back my friends.
No friends. Just to kill. We are alone.
Hires now witches. No wonder you can still afford a house in Sunnydale.
Why should someone want to harm Cordelia?
Affectionately known as the Scooby Gang, members have come and gone. Cordelia and Angel, to name a few. The main core consists of 4 characters: Buffy Summers, Willow Rosenberg, Xander Harris, and Rupert Giles.
Amy.
While these other members share many characteristics of Buffy, Angel's stoicism,
I want to be alone.
I just want to be left alone.
Cordelia's narcissism,
I'm like, Dad, you want me to go to the dance in an outfit I've already worn? Why do you hate me? Is Tyler taking you? Where were you when I got over Tyler? He's of the past. Tyler would have to crawl on his hands and knees to get me to go to the dance with him.
It's like when I go shopping. I have to have the most expensive thing. Not because it's expensive, but because it costs more.
I will only be focusing on the main Scooby Gang. If we now understand the Buffyverse to be a delusional construct and her friends to be the coercive force bringing Buffy back to Sunnydale repeatedly, the leap that each friend is an aspect or characteristic of Buffy herself is a small one. So who are they? Xander is the weakest of the Scoobies in terms of magical or supernatural power. But the power he does have is his part of the humanistic philosophy, not relying on the supernatural or divine. Xander uses his humanity to express himself, attaching prime importance to the human rather than the spiritual. He even saved the world just by talking.
And you're too afraid to tell anyone. You've come pretty far. Ending the world, not a terrific notion. But the thing is, yeah, I love you. I love crayon breaky Willow, and I love scary veiny Willow.
He is the foolish, mistake-making part of Buffy. His poor romantic choices,
Xander, I'm so sorry.
This can't just happen. It can't just keep happening that demon women find me attractive. There's gotta be a reason.
You just seem like a nice guy, that's all. And I wanted to get to know you.
And kill me?
Sure.
his immaturity.
Exactly did you rest your eyes for?
A little now, a little then. But I never heard Oz leave, and he was here in the morning when I woke up! You can put it that way if you want to, Mr. Technical.
And his jealousy.
You left me, Xander, at the altar. I don't owe you anything.
So you go out and bang the first body you can find, dead or alive?
He's the part of her that gets things wrong. The part of her that isn't supernatural.
Riley!
Scott Hope said you were gay.
What? I dated that ringworm.
Is this some sort of a joke?
Mom, please, could you
No,
just...
I can't just. Buffy, what is this?
She was running away again.
Willow began as the Pollyanna of the group. Her willingness to help others and bright attitude allowed her to be abused by other characters.
I mean, hi. Did you want me to move?
You can't believe the stuff that I have to put up with.
Yeah, I guess it's hard. But I'm sure the sweater thing was an accident.
I don't know, well, I don't think I can take another day of this. Let me just come back from the bathroom. I'll call you back.
I've decided to drop geometry. So I won't be needing your math help anymore. Which means I won't have to look at your pasty face again.
I just hate the way he bullies people. He just assumes everyone's time is his.
Willow, get on the computer. I want you to take another pass at accessing the mail's file.
Okay.
As the show progressed, so did Willow's ability to defend herself.
And now you're nothing. You're just a big, selfish, worthless waste.
You hurt me, I hurt you. I'm just a little more efficient.
Oh, and here I just thought you didn't have a comeback. That's not what I did, Giles.
You were lucky.
I wasn't lucky. I was amazing. And how would you know? You weren't even there.
If I had been, I'd have bloody well stopped you. The magics you channeled are more ferocious and primal than anything you can hope to understand, and you are lucky to be alive, you rank, arrogant amateur.
You're right. The magics I used are very powerful. I'm very powerful, and maybe it's not such a good idea for you to piss me off.
Willow's character fluidity pushes her to become addicted to magic. This addictive nature is also displayed in Buffy's behaviour towards Spike. Ultimately, they both go cold turkey, resisting the urge to pursue destructive tendencies.
No more spells. I'm finished.
It's over.
I've memorized this tune, love. I think I have the sheet music. It doesn't change what you want.
I know that. I do want you. Being with you makes things simpler. For a little while.
I don't call 5 hours straight a little while.
I'm using you. I can't love you. I'm just being weak and selfish,
Really not complaining here.
and it's killing me.
Willow represents Buffy's connection to dark magic and her tendency to be drawn towards darkness itself.
No, we can't. This isn't a hobby or an addiction. It's inside you now. This magic. You're responsible for it.
Perhaps, but your power is rooted in darkness. You must feel it.
No. You know what I feel? Bored.
Giles is the authoritarian.
For Slayer or Watcher.
Giles respects authority. He enforces rules, even when clearly uncomfortable with them. He does what he has to do, as does Buffy.
It's an archaic exercise in cruelty. To lock her in this tomb, weakened, defenseless, and to unleash that on her.
If you try anything again, he'll kill you. More importantly, I'll let him. I have a mission. To win this war. To save the world. I don't have time for vendettas. The mission is what matters.
As Normal Again progresses, Buffy expresses her desire to remain in this new, harsh reality rather than return to the Buffyverse.
It's not going to be easy, Buffy. You have to take it one step at a time.
The Doctor's explanation for Buffy to rid herself of the things that hold her to the world inside her head are almost theological in their intent.
There are things in that world you cling to. For your delusion, they're safe holes, but for your mind, they're traps.
And it suggests that this new, colder world, notice the colour palette of the hospital compared to the brightness of Buffy's home, is somehow Buffy's transition from childhood into adulthood. The comforting warmth of the Buffyverse giving way to harsh, stark reality, becoming an adult.
Last summer when you had a momentary awakening, it was them that pulled you back in.
They're not really your friends, Buffy. They're just tricks keeping you from getting healthy.
You have to do whatever it takes to convince yourself of that, Buffy.
See how Buffy sits on her bed, childlike, surrounded by overpowering, standing adults.
Buffy? Buffy? Buffy, fight it. You're too good to give in. You can beat this thing. Be strong, baby, okay? I know you're afraid. I know the world feels like a hard place sometimes, but you've got people who love you. Your dad and I, we have all the faith in the world in you. We'll always be with you. You've got a world of strength in your heart. I know you do. You just have to find it again. Believe in yourself.
But it's Buffy's mother's voice, the calm, reassuring tone, that compels Buffy to make the decision to face her fear of living head on.
You're right.
Alarming to Joyce, and almost a relief to the audience, Buffy decides to stay in the Buffyverse.
I'm sorry, there's no reaction at all. I'm afraid we lost her.
Unlike other shows akin to Buffy, such as Lost, Supernatural, and The X-Files, who all did a dream state episode, this ending is ambiguous. The audience is left to make up their own mind. In an article in the New York Times, Joss Whedon was asked, how important is normal again in the Buffy arc? Joss says, the narrative is really up to the person watching. If they decide the entire thing is all playing out in some crazy person's head, well, the joke of the thing was, it is. And that crazy person is me. It's the kind of ultimate postmodern look at the concept of a writer writing a show, which is not the sort of thing we usually do on the show. But ultimately, the entire series takes place in the mind of a lunatic locked up somewhere in Los Angeles, if that's what the viewer wants. Personally, I think it really happened. But I have to disagree with Joss Whedon. I think in the climate of today, and the understanding we have of mental disorders, the fact that Buffy could quite possibly be sitting in a mental asylum is very real.